Canada's 2025 to 2027 Immigration Roadmap Key Changes. Canada's new 2025 to 2027 immigration plan changes everything. For the first time, it sets firm limits on both permanent and temporary residents. Whether you're a student, worker, or spouse, this is your guide to navigating the new system. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So, without any further delay, let's jump into the video. For decades, Ottawa published lofty permanent resident targets while treating international students and foreign workers as a footnote. No longer. The 2025 to 2027 Immigration Levels Plan merges the two universes, setting firm ceilings for temporary residents alongside permanent admissions. If you are dreaming of a Canadian degree, lining up a job offer, or planning to join a spouse on an open work permit, these figures are your new playbook. 2. The headline numbers, a controlled descent in temporary arrivals. Canada will admit up to 673,650 temporary residents in 2025, then throttle back to about 516,000 in 2026 before nudging up to roughly 544,000 in 2027. Ottawa's goal, shrink the share of temporary residents to 5% of the national population by the end of 2026, easing pressure on housing, healthcare, and transit. The message is unmistakable: 2025 is the most abundant intake year, 2026 is the squeeze point, 2027 marks a modest rebound. 3. Study permit caps, predictable but competitive. An annual 305,900 study permits are earmarked for each of the 3 years. That sounds generous, but much of the quota is already spoken for by returning students and provincial allocations, meaning fresh applicants must be laser-ready. Academic edge, maintain above-average grades and secure unconditional admission offers early. Language mastery, IELTS/TOEFL scores well above minimums, CLB 7 or higher, protect you if your province hits its cap. Financial proof, IRCC's updated cost of living benchmark $20,635 Canadian dollars for a single student in 2025 must be shown up front. Provinces with smaller international cohorts, such as Newfoundland, New Brunswick, and Saskatchewan, often process study permits faster and may have spots even when Ontario or British Columbia caps out. 4. The work permit landscape, understanding IMP versus TFWP. Behind the headline totals sits a critical split. International Mobility Program, open or LMIA exempt permits for intracompany transferees, un-LMIA global talent streams, postgrad workers, and spousal open work permits. Quota, 285,000 in 2025, plunging to 128,000 in 2026, then recovering to 155,000 in 2027. Temporary Foreign Worker Program, employer-specific, LMIA-backed permits, fixed at 82,000 each year, with preference for healthcare, agriculture, trades, and tech occupations. Because IMP numbers nosedive in 2026, applicants relying on LMIA-exempt pathways must either file in 2025 or strengthen their profiles to compete in a leaner year. 5. Spousal Open Work Permits, 2025, the sweet spot. SOAPs are counted under the IMP ceiling, so 2025's large allocation is a golden window. From January 21, 2025, IRCC narrows eligibility, only spouses of master's or doctoral students in programs of at least 16 months, foreign workers in TER 0 to 1 occupations, or select TER 2 to 3 shortage roles, construction, healthcare, STEM, natural resources. If your relationship hinges on working in Canada while your partner studies or works, submit your application in early 2025. The pipeline tightens sharply afterward. 6. High-demand occupations, where opportunity beckons. Canada's chronic labor gaps steer TFWP approvals toward healthcare, registered nurses, personal support workers, lab technologists, pharmacists, agriculture and agri-tech, farm supervisors, greenhouse laborers, veterinary technicians, agri-equipment specialists, digital and AI, software engineers, cybersecurity analysts, data scientists, machine learning engineers. Skilled trades, welders, electricians, heavy equipment mechanics, crane operators. Candidates with a positive LMIA in these fields enjoy priority processing, even in the quota-light year of 2026. 7. Policy fine print you cannot ignore. PGWP reboot. As of June 2025, IRCC ripped up the old "any program counts" rule. Only programs aligned to 119 approved fields keep PGWP eligibility, 178 legacy programs lost that privilege. Pick your school and major wisely, or risk graduating without a Canadian work pathway. Language thresholds. A new PGWP requirement kicking in November 2024 mandates minimum CLB 7, university, or CLB 5, college, before graduation. Early test prep is non-negotiable. Stricter LMIAs. Employers must now post jobs for a minimum of 4 weeks and show wage parity with Canadians before IRCC signs off, slowing TFWP files. Plan onboarding timelines accordingly. 8. Strategy playbook, turning caps into chances. Front-load your timeline, launch study permit and IMP applications in Q1 2025 while global queues are shortest. Pivot provinces, explore labor-starved Atlantic or Prairie provinces that still have unused allocations when big provinces close their doors. Synchronize family packages, submit principal and spouse files together to avoid quota mismatch refusals. Upgrade credentials, a higher IELTS band, an in-demand certificate, e.g., Red Seal for trades, or French bilingualism can tilt ranking in your favor. Secure a Plan B. If you miss 2025, line up an LMIA-ready employer or opt for a shorter graduate certificate that lets you re-enter the PGWP stream under the lean 2026 cap. 9 key takeaways. Act decisively, especially in 2025. Canada's 3-year blueprint signals a calibrated welcome. Steady seats for students, a roller coaster ride for temporary workers, and a tightening gate for spouses. The smartest movers will. Lock in study seats or SOAPs before the 2026 crunch. Align career plans with priority occupations, and track Ottawa's annual November recalibrations to adjust course swiftly. Seize 2025 Canada's year of maximum opportunity, then navigate 2020 SIX's narrower doorway and 2027's re-expansion with informed confidence. Your Canadian future is still within reach if you play the numbers and the timing to perfection. Common things newcomers get wrong about Canada. Planning on moving to Canada? From details on what the weather is really like to geographical surprises, there are some things about the Great White North that every newcomer could benefit from knowing but aren't always found in travel guides. So, in celebration of Canada Day, here's a closer look at some lesser-known facts about Canada. How big is Canada really? While many newcomers are aware that Canada is geographically vast, the sheer scale of the country often comes as a surprise. Canadians frequently point out that distances in the country are so vast that they prefer giving directions in time, not miles/kilometers. Canada is the second-largest country in the world by land area, covering more than 9.98 million square kilometers. Its size means that many Canadian cities are closer to US cities than to each other. To put it in perspective, Toronto and Vancouver, 2 of Canada's largest urban centers, are a 5-hour flight apart. So don't assume you can visit Halifax, Montreal, Toronto, Calgary, and Vancouver during a 7-day trip. The nuances between provinces. Given the size of Canada, it's no surprise that life can differ depending on the province in which you live. Every province has significant jurisdictional power to make decisions that affect daily life, from the education system and healthcare to taxes, road rules, and even the legal drinking age. For example, in Quebec, French is the predominant language used in most workplaces, especially customer-facing roles, whereas in Ontario, English is the primary language, although bilingualism is considered an asset. It can almost feel like each province functions as its own separate country in some ways, so it's hard to find a universal Canadian experience. So, your experience in Canada will vary greatly depending on which province you call home. The temperature fluctuations. Canada is often portrayed as a cold country, and newcomers are frequently advised to prepare for chilly winters. Warm attire and winter accessories are an absolute must. However, some also pointed out that, while newcomers are typically prepared for the cold, it's the hot summers that can catch them off guard. In fact, many regions of Canada see summer temperatures reaching between 25 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius, and occasionally soaring above 35 degrees Celsius during heat waves, especially in cities like Toronto, Calgary, and Ottawa. It's crucial to have clothing suitable for both winter and summer. Politeness doesn't always mean niceness. Canadians are well known for their politeness, but that politeness doesn't necessarily mean they're always nice. Smiling, holding the door open for others, and saying please and thank you are key aspects of Canadian life. However, while manners are essential, it doesn't mean Canadians are pushovers. The meaning of sorry. In Canada, the word sorry can mean much more than an apology. In Canada, saying sorry can be a way to say, excuse me, I feel bad for you, can you say that again, or even, did you really just say that? So, when Canadians say sorry, it's often less about expressing regret and more about politeness. Etiquette in public spaces. Many newcomers are surprised by the unspoken rules of Canadian etiquette, especially in public spaces. For example, Canadians pride themselves on being quieter than Americans, especially in public spaces. Other common etiquette practices include respecting personal space, holding doors open for others, not cutting in line, using headphones while in public spaces, and avoiding unnecessary staring. Shoes need to be removed in the house. A lesser-known aspect of Canadian life is the cultural norm of removing shoes when entering a home. This practice is often followed because of Canada's variable weather conditions and landscape. Removing shoes helps prevent tracking dirt, snow, and mud into the house. It is also seen as a sign of respect when visiting others' homes. For these reasons, it's often considered polite to take your shoes off when entering someone's home, unless told otherwise. And lastly, watch out for the geese. While Canada's wildlife is one of its biggest attractions, it's best not to get too friendly with the wildlife, particularly the geese. There have been numerous instances over the years of geese getting aggressive towards humans. That's why giving Canadian geese a wide berth is a common warning, especially if there are baby goslings in the vicinity, as this makes the geese more protective. With limited spots and rising competition, timing is everything. Act early, aim smart, and align with Canada's priorities. 2025 is your golden window. Your Canadian future starts with the right move now. That is all for today, in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.